Howdy, Thomas here. I wanted to tell you a little bit about my water heater solution. Again, I have a cabin and I built a shower. I want to rinse the dishes. So I installed one of these super cheap Chinese water heaters. It's basically a tankless water heater. What that means that it doesn't have an internal tank, heat up the water, maintain the temperature. Whenever you let the faucet go, it empties the tank. It doesn't have that. What it does have, it has a burner. This is a propane solution. Again, this is totally off-grid solution. Um, I have a propane tank here, the regular 15-pound propane tank, and it basically has a pipe, a heat exchanger, and once you turn the water on, it senses that the water pressure drops, so the faucet is open, and then it turns on the propane and starts heating the pipe, which eventually starts heating the water also. This is very important to understand because these kind of water heaters, the cheap kind, it has some things that you probably want to know before you buy one of these so you don't get surprised. So the water heater that I have is one of these complex water heaters. It has this is what it has, water inlet. I used PEX pipes because I had to crawl underneath the cabin, so I didn't want to solder or any of that, and I used the copper rings. I don't use the stainless steel. I think these are a little bit better. It puts even pressure on the PEX pipe. This is the propane tank, propane hookup, and then you have the hot water outlet. Follow the instructions when you connect this. It's really important that on the outside, very close to the outlet, you have an overpressure release valve. So that's what it is. It goes into the wall and it goes outside. So if the water pressure exceeds 75 psi, my main pressure is 40 psi. So if it exceeds 75 psi, it's going to just let all that excess water out. That's very important because when water heats up, it also it becomes bigger, right? The volume increases. So another important thing is that when you buy one of these, you get the chimney, whatever you call this, the exhaust. So this water heater is rated for indoor use. So when you buy yours and you want to use it indoors, you have to make sure you buy one that's indoor rated. So it's still very important to understand that yes, the exhaust goes outside, but the air, in order for you to burn propane, it comes from your cabin. So exhaust goes out, it sucks air in, so your cabin is gonna be under pressurized. So if heating is a problem for you, you have to remember this, that you will constantly draw cold air in once you turn this on. So you have some adjustments here, how hot the flame is and how fast your flow is, so you can adjust all that. This is a 110 volt system. I didn't want to deal with batteries since I have a solar panel. It's not super powerful yet. I have this little switch from Amazon, like $5, to turn it on and off. So we kind of talked about the theory of operation, right? It has to sense that the water turns on and then it starts burning. It's very important to know that in order for you to turn the water on, that requires a lot of flow. I think this particular unit, 3.2 gallon per minute. That's a lot. Once, however, the unit turns on, you can lower the flow. It has a little bit of hysteresis. So I'm gonna demonstrate just that. Hopefully you're gonna see that. You will see the display when it turns on. So I'm gonna find a point where it turns on. Guess for some, oops, the hot side would be better. there you go. So it turned on. You will see the temperature increase, and once it kicks on, you can lower the flow so that it doesn't turn off, right? About that much. So this is way less than 3.2 gallons per minute. That's very important to know. You can see the temperature increasing. So one side, it doesn't have any internal feedback loop, right? So if I increase the flow, temperature starts dropping because it can't really heat it up that fast. You see it's dropping. If I close it, it's gonna start increase until the point that it turns off. So yeah, very important thing about the exhaust. This exhaust gets super hot. Unfortunately, this heater doesn't come with this plate. I had to build this myself. What I ended up doing, I took a piece of galvanized steel, and you can kind of see with an angle grinder, I cut a star in it, and then I bent the little stars inside. So this is like an adapter plate, an insulator. The hole in the wall itself is way bigger, so the wood doesn't touch the hot pipe at all, and I use silicone to make sure there's no draft. And I have exactly the same thing on the outside. I removed all the insulation, so about the hole all the way through is about this big. I removed insulation, wood, everything. You don't want to burn down your cabin, right? So yeah, that's what you have to know about this. I'm going to show the outside. There is one very important thing you have to do when you install these, and that's the angle of the exhaust. So it's a straight out, and what you want to do, again, I built this plate myself, exact same thing. Angle grinder, cut a star in it, bent everything inside, and I put the pipe through it. So important note is that this has to be angled down, because if there's any water, you know, hitting this pipe, you want to make sure it doesn't go inside. So it's gonna just, you know, go out. So yeah, I try to stay away from all the windows. This particular unit came with awesome instructions how far you have to be from, you know, your fascia, from any window, anything, because this can produce carbon monoxide. So awesome instructions. I really like that one. And another thing is that any propane-based heater that I have, or anything that consumes fuel, I don't want to poison my family. So I have one of these battery-operated carbon monoxide detectors. So yeah, I always test it before I sleep. And in order to preserve power, I usually, when I don't use it or I sleep, I turn it off. Once I upgrade the solar system, I'm just gonna leave it on all the time. You can see that it maintains the heat pretty well, even though it doesn't have a tank. The outside temperature is 52 degrees right now, so it cools off rather slow. So if I were to reopen the faucet, I would still have hot water, even though the temperature outside is pretty cold. So for a Texan it is. So yeah, that's about it. Let me know if you have any questions or any tips for me, if you have one of these or similar unit, and hopefully we can all learn from each other. Thank you so much. Bye.